And I also want in this session for you, everybody watching later, to have an experience of connection in tandem with using the Healy device, having an experience of connection with yourself, with your own intuition, and with the field, which we're going to talk a lot about, with the field that you are always connected with, but we're not aware that we're connected with it, and we're always receiving information from it. So I'm going to begin by really summarizing my career as a therapist really quickly, because I didn't come to using Healy and Timewaver until I had already been working as a homeopath for about 7 years or so. And I was introduced to Timewaver by a German friend of mine who was just blown away by his experience of it. So up until then, when I worked with clients as a homeopath, my job was to listen and take the complete case and really, really listen to put all of the pieces of the jigsaw together to understand two things. One is what contributed to the state that they are in now, whether it's physical or emotional. Secondly, what remedy out there, what homeopathic remedy will best match that person's state. And having chosen the remedy, I then needed to decide what potency. Was it a D? Was it a C? Was it an LM? And how often to prescribe it, how often to give it. So that was a lot of work. So when Timewaver and Healy came along, and I discovered that databases had been created of all of the homeopathic remedies, and not just the homeopathic remedies, but all of the mental states and the emotions and the beliefs and the traumas that people suffer. The databases had been created, which with this technology we can access, and we can sit back, we can get into a state of connection with the client, and then sit back and let the technology reach into the field and choose what's most appropriate. That for me was groundbreaking, life-changing. So the way I work with clients now, as Jackie said, I prepare myself first. At the beginning of each day, if I'm going to see a few clients in a day, I will tune in and I will ask, I will acknowledge my connection with Source, my oneness with the divine. And I will ask for grace and healing for every person that I'm going to see that day. So I'm sharing this with you so that you can be mindful of including this in your preparation to work with yourself or to work with somebody else. And as Jackie said, I'm a great believer in connecting people with their own inner wisdom, giving people an opportunity to just have the limelight turned on them, because we are always looking outwards, but we don't often have the opportunity, especially with someone holding space for us, to really tune in and be the one, be the center of attention and see what's there. How are we and what do we want? So I'm going to work with Jackie later in a really live session. Neither of us know right now what Jackie is going to come up with and choose to work on. And then I'm going to go into the coaching module and show you, in fact, I'll show you the coaching module beforehand, because I don't want to be teaching while I'm working with you. I want to get you familiar with some of the, what would you call them? 6 aspects. I'm going to focus on the personal coach module. I'm going to go into the databases of those 6, 3 in each. So you become familiar with them, because the more familiar you are with the databases, the easier it is for you who the one doing the analysis to choose the databases that are most appropriate to what the client is wanting to work on. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else I want to say before we begin. I want to say a little bit about information field technology and the field itself. So most of you know that with the pink Healy app, you are delivering frequencies to the physical body, using the quantum sensor to choose those frequencies, yes. But with the blue app, the Healy Analyze app, you are working purely with the information field. You're using the quantum sensor in the Healy to search and choose batch flower essences, Healy programs, Alaskan flower essences that are right for the client in that moment. So what is this? What is this process that happens when you analyze? So I'm going to say a little bit about the field that we're all connected with. This field was recognized in the Indian Vedic tradition. 10,000 years ago, it was written about. They call it the Akash, the record of everything that's ever happened, collectively to all of us and individually to each of us. All of our thoughts, experiences, emotions, everything is there. In the 1930s, 40s, 50s, quantum scientists began to explore this field and described it as a force which influences the behavior of particles in the physical level. So for scientists to admit that there is an unseen force controlling and modulating the behavior of particles is a breakthrough in science. It's the beginning of merging science with spirituality. I'm going to give you two other examples. Bert Hellinger, a German psychotherapist, worked with family constellations, where he observed groups of people representing family members working on behalf of a client, and watched the interaction between those participants. And what he could see is that there was unseen loyalty, hidden loyalties that each of us carry towards our ancestors, towards our parents, grandparents, going back many generations. These hidden loyalties affect our behavior and our life here. So he called that family constellation, or working within the field, the psychotherapeutic field that goes beyond the present, goes beyond the physical, and shows the hidden influences. Another scientist, Rupert Sheldrake, in the UK, an Oxford professor of biophysics, a biologist really. He studied plants and animals too, and he was fascinated to discover why plants, as they grow, where are they getting the information from that teaches each cell to become a particular part of the plant. He concluded that there is a field which the plant is connecting with, an unseen field. He called it the morphogenic field. So different people have called it different things. German scientists like Burkhard Heim called it the information field. So with Healy, we are using technology to connect us with that field. One moment. And you might say, do we need technology? Don't we already connect with the field in different ways? And the answer is absolutely yes, we do. All of us, consciously or unconsciously, are connecting and receiving information. Some of you might be aware of particular times when you are more receptive to receiving insights and ideas that allow you to become more self-aware. Usually it's when we're quiet. For some people, it's when they're having a bath. They just sit for a while longer and just reflect, and ideas come. Others say that moment on just going to sleep, or that moment just waking up, they feel some new insights often. Okay. And the last question I want to address is, why coaching? I know that many of you already work as coaches, some do, some don't, but I want to cover this question for some who may not have thought of using the Healy for this purpose, for yourself and for other people, really. So the idea of coaching is to help somebody see something that they don't already see, to show them maybe some blind spots, help them open to aspects of themselves that they're not aware of. So coaching is empowering in that sense, that it establishes with somebody what they want and then helps them by revealing what they don't already see. Because if we saw what was necessary, we wouldn't need help. And the fact is, each of us don't see ourselves fully. We need other people to reflect back to us who we are. So coaching is a gentle, loving way of doing this, as you'll see today as I work with Jackie. I'm going to pause there for a moment, and Jackie, just tell me if there are any questions before I share screen and begin.
Questions from me?
Mm.
No, I don't. It was very clear.
Beautiful. Okay, good. Good. So before I'm going to share screen in a few moments, and we're going to go into the coaching module. But before I do, I'm going to read you one of my favorite poems. You probably know this poet, Rumi, and these lines, many of you will be familiar with them. Before I begin to work, I want to kind of set the tone by reading this to you. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. So when we approach working with people with this technology, we want to bring love and we want to bring light. Both. Love to help a person accept themselves fully, because as Carl Rogers said, when I accept myself fully, then I change. Without self-acceptance, we're stuck in a catch-22. But we also want to bring light. We want to shed light onto those aspects that are hidden. And bringing those two together, love and light, is what we can call wisdom. So now I'm going to share screen and introduce you to the coaching module. You'll notice I haven't said much about the other aspects of the Healy resonance, which is pure information field analysis and work. I'm doing that because most of you are very familiar with those already. So I want to focus on that which you're not so familiar with. So I'm now going to share screen. Give me a moment. Very good. There we are. Okay, so before I go back, reconnecting, yeah. Very good. So you'll see I have created Jackie as my client here of the photograph. Later, we're going to enter a focus statement. But first, I want to introduce you to the databases. So for personal coaching, there are 6 databases. Can you see my screen okay? Is there anything I can do to enlarge the screen, or it's fine? Is it, Jackie?
It's fine.
Good, good. Okay. So we'll begin with emotional balance. I want to go through them, spend a little bit of time going through them so you become familiar with them. The 3 databases inside of emotional balance are emotional harmony. So what is emotional harmony about? All about feelings. What we do with our feelings. How aware we are of them. How we suppress them. How we inadequately live them out, as I'm reading here. Okay. Then we have energy and power. I'm just giving you a few moments to read those. Now, I know I can see that with the database screen as it is, it's not possible to see all of the sentences. If entries come up in analysis and you print the list, create a PDF, then you will be able to see all of it. So this database here deals with what robs us of our power. What robs us of our energy. And finally, living consciously. So living consciously is about being aware of what we're doing. And whether we're living according to our true values or not. So it's all about becoming more self-aware, becoming more conscious of how we're actually living. Because most of us, I'm sure all of us, have an idea in our head of how we're living. But what we see is maybe 30% of the picture. So databases like this help to highlight and show us aspects of our own behavior and ways of living that we're not conscious of. Okay, and I'll take one other, self-worth. So under self-worth, we have basics of self-esteem. In Timewaver, this is called base of self-esteem. So what is the foundation for self-esteem? And you see here all of these aspects that lead to high self-esteem, that could define high self-esteem. Good. Parameters for happiness, still in the self-worth module. What makes me happy? What do I believe happiness is? Where do I believe happiness comes from? Do I believe that I deserve to be happy? And what sabotage might be there that's stopping me from being happy? Okay. Finally, self-acceptance. Really, really beautiful. So it's a big database. It's got 119 ways in which I can accept myself more fully. And by accepting myself, by number one, acknowledging these issues, accepting these issues, then I have the opportunity to change them. So in many of these, you will see the wording, I accept. For example, I accept my resistance to my own responsibility and consciously deal with it. So consciously deal with it means I don't ignore it. I do something different, make a change. Okay. So I think that's enough time spent on exploring these databases. I might go through them really quickly. Family relationships has boundaries and team spirit. So this is the ability to be in a group, especially a family group, and be in your own energy at the same time, not being overly lost in other people's experience, maintaining a solid sense of self while you're interacting with people. On the other hand, it also means not being so caught up with your own experience that you're not aware of or empathic with other people's experience. Resolving imprints and ancestral claims. Interesting to look at that. So many of our things are inherited. It doesn't mean they don't belong to us. They belong to us collectively in the family group, the ancestral group that we came through. But by becoming aware of what is part of my experience, but what is shared in my ancestral lineage, that awareness then allows me to say, okay, I want to dissolve this. And we usually would say, I dissolve this for myself and for all of my ancestors. Sometimes it's empowering to see that it's not everything is personal. You know, we work on ourselves, but as we do, we discover that we have a lot in common with other people, especially members of our family, parents, grandparents, all of that. So it helps us to not take everything so personally and see, oh, okay, so this is a pattern that I've got. It's in me. It was in my family of origin. Now I can do something about it for myself and for others who went before me. And I can be a light for others who go after me. And harmonization of areas of life. This is quite clear what it means. Okay, so I would now like to go into a shared experience with all of you as I work with Jackie. And I want to say, Jackie, I'm going to stop sharing screen. I want to say before we begin, thank you for your willingness to be open and to possibilities, whatever's going to happen, we have no idea. And for your own benefit, but also for the benefit of all of the people watching. So I see you.
I see you.
Just going to get my pen and paper in case I need it. But as I work with Jackie, everybody, I would say, take the opportunity to receive this as for yourself. Allow the questions to settle within you. Ask yourself these same questions that I asked Jackie. Okay? Oh dear. Yeah, I'm really connecting with you, and it's beautiful, really beautiful. Looking at your eyes and your smile. And I want you to just become aware of your breath, as I've just done as well, just noticing that in-breath. Noticing the out-breath. We're going to take some time to be with breath. The breath anchors us in the body. And allows us to become aware of what's happening in the body. There may be a lot happening. We're taking this time and this space to be with the breath. As we connect with the breath, the body relaxes. Beautiful. So Jackie, I'd ask you to share how you are right now.
I feel really empowered, but I'm a little bit nervous at the same time.
Mhm.
It's quite vulnerable.
Mhm. Mhm. And do you notice that in your body?
Yeah.
Can you bring your awareness to that part of your body that's vibrating with that sense of being vulnerable? And just breathe into it. And getting a sense that it's about safety. It's about perhaps feeling safe, a degree of needing to know that you're safe. Is that right? Good. Beautiful. So I'd like you to just keep breathing into your core, Jackie. Connect with yourself. And to acknowledge the courage that it takes. To be the one working in this public way, really acknowledging you. And I have a deep desire that you benefit from this in a way that is really valuable to you. So I want you to tune in and ask yourself, is there some area that's present for me at the moment that I'd like to explore and receive support with?
Yes.
What is that there?
It's about my vision, my dream. I choose the end result of creating and generating a huge on and offline high vibe community where people find truth, light, healing, and transformation.
So you're very connected with what it is that you are doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you want that would help you to continue to do that and to be that for this community?
Is trust in me. Yeah. That I have the capability to do all of that, to trust my intuition. It's coming down to trust myself that I have the ability, trust myself that will be at the right time, the right place, meet the right people, and just follow my intuition. I live my life on intuition. Sometimes I doubt.
Yes. Yeah. So you are already doing it.
Yeah.
And you have sometimes the question come in.
Yeah.
Can I really keep expanding?
Yeah.
That little doubt comes in. And
Yeah.
if it is it doubt? Is it just doubt? Is there anything else there?
Well, I think it's also something from my childhood. I was raised in a certain way, not very empowering, not very loving at a certain part, very put down. And I think I was raised with a lack of self-worth.
Mm.
So yeah, sometimes I don't believe in myself or trust in myself. I know I have a lot of qualities. I know I'm very strong, very powerful, but at the same time, in my weakest moments, sometimes I don't think so. I think the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I am my biggest blockage. Yeah.
So I see in front of you, there's just this amazing space.
Yeah.
Amazing space of light and openness and endless possibility.
Yeah.
Expansion.
Yeah.
And at the back, there's some shadow, and still some what we call imprints,
Yeah.
some messages that you are not that.
Exactly.
You defined yourself according to what you heard or what experienced.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So what we're doing here is asking for those influences
Yeah.
that still come sometimes, that are still there in the unconscious, in the field, to be cleared, to be
Yep.
cleared, to be brought to the surface so that we can consciously acknowledge them, feel them, and let them go,
Yes, that will be beautiful.
not be held back by them.
Yeah.
So would you help me to put into words your intention?
What I just said. Okay.
Would you say it
I
again?
choose the end result.
So Yvonne, if you want to stop recording for a moment, give me a few minutes, 2 minutes to type this in, okay?